It is the first episode of House to Home, and we are one person short because our dear friend Liz Duenas is en route. She's traveling right now because she spent the holidays, as you know, with friends and family. So that means it's just Gina and I. So, Gina, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. And she's actually here in spirit. I could hear her voice in the back of my ear right now.
There you go. Well, it's a very welcome voice, certainly. And next week we'll have her visually as well as audibly. But of course, you are a first-rate business person. I know, you're always like a good chess, like any good chess player, you're always looking like two or three steps ahead. So I'm sure you've had 2023 mapped out as far as what you want to work on, what you need fine tuning in, and hopefully some projects you want to kick off long before, December 31st. So what are you working on this year?
So our Monopoly board, this is where we're at right now.
Mm,
We left off some issues last year, and I know we've been, beating the drum about this issue, but we continue this saga with EPA and with Senator Perez. And I don't know if Senator Perez is going to be the person that we work with this year, but John Duenas emailed her recently. The election's over, and we just kind of wanted to remind her that this issue hasn't gone away. And we're not done with it until we get the type 4 septic tank facilities approved for Guam, so that EPA does not continue to deny building permits for families that are looking at building their homes over the aquifer area. Then that's something that we have to hit the ground running and addressing January, February. We're really hoping that the legislature, once the drama about the speakership is over and they get the people set up for the committees, we want to reach out to whoever's assigned for that particular committee who has oversight over EPA. And we want to move that issue forward. I know John Duenas spent a lot of time working on the bill,
mm-hmm.
and that's something that is really dear to us, because until we know that these families can start building again and get their permits approved, it is something that we're going to continue pushing forward. And we also need to reach out to Lieutenant Josh Tenorio to remind him that we left off that very important conversation with him as well. We have not gotten feedback from his attorneys, so we're going to keep pushing forward on that. And then the other thing that we want to remind everybody, this is something that's dear to us as well. We understand there's a lot of people with the interest rates going up. We have to become really smart about what we do in order to buy. If you're looking at buying, or if you're looking at building for yourself, 2023 is going to be all about strategy and all about, you have to be able to predict what's coming up. And I'll give you an example. If you're building and the interest rates, let's say you got approved last year to build. If you're in the process of building or you're getting ready to build, what the interest rate that you were approved based on last year has gone up. If not double, it will be double by the time you break ground. So you have to strategize. At this point, I would say stop, sit down with your loan officer and strategize. Hey, what am I able to do considering the interest rates might hit 8 or 9%?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to adjust and forecast for that. It's almost like running a business. We do that all the time.
It
We
is.
have,
I mean, you're facilitating a transaction, and you're dealing with usually large sums of money.
to me, 100, if you're budgeting 100,000 to build, or 200,000, I mean, that's a large sum of money as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when the interest rate doubles, it means that amount that you can use to build has gone down, if not 50%, but dramatically has gone down. The amount you can pull from the bank has gone down. So you really got to plan for that. And I would just say it's really difficult to know right now what 2023 is going to bring from the state side over to Guam. I still believe that for Guam's market, it's still going to be very strong. We're still going to have demand, but it may not be as high as it was before with VA buyers in the market. I think that demand's going to taper down a little bit. But let's face it, there are two things that don't go away. You always will need a place to live, and you always need food, right? So those two things really kind of, they go up and then they stabilize, they go up and they stabilize, but it's not going to go away. You still need a place to live. And so that market is not going to go down, and especially with the increased number of military coming to Guam.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Madam Chair, I am keeping the minutes here. So I am the ad hoc secretary for Gina and Liz Corp, right? And so I'm going over to, so that was an old business, right? What have we got on the agenda for new business, new ventures, new opportunities that you may be looking to create or, exploit? And exploit's not a bad word.
New business. Keep in mind that we started the children's arc last year,
Yes.
so we're going to continue to work on projects for that. We're going to brainstorm on what we could do to generate funding. And the Children's Art Network, what we had in mind was being able to make a real impact for individual families, not just, we wanted to personalize the help so that it makes a big impact. Okay, we wanted to make a difference, but we are also thinking, in our line of work in real estate, we have to start projecting how can we make housing a possibility for low income families through the Children's Arc. And that's always been really dear to us. We either focus on housing or we focus on infrastructure, but we want to hit the ground running this year to make a difference that way, because we know local families here, if you're not subsidized in any way and you're just a working class family like we are, like you are, like I am, Jace, like Liz is, then it gets more and more difficult as interest rates go up and the cost of living here goes up, the cost of renting goes up, your mortgage payments are going up. What can we do through that organization that could really make a difference and make an impact in the lives of our local families? There are lots of grants and lots of programs. And I think we need to spend some time focusing on that to see what we can do to help. I was listening to the news this morning about Guam housing and how there are a number of homes that are not completed under their project. What could we do to assist there? I mean, there's just so much work that needs to be done.
So Guam in 2023, there is going to be no shortage of work, to be sure. And let's go ahead and close on this topic, because we do want to give a sense of optimism and a sense of hope about our beloved community. So I'm going to ask you to put your crystal ball and peer 6 months into the future, because we're in month one, of course, of the new year. By the time we hit June, Gina, is the Guam real estate market, according to your projections and everything, or just gut feeling, will we be in a much better position than we are right now?
I think so. Absolutely. I think
I like the sound of that.
Well, what's happened is with the interest rate hikes, we've had a cloud on the market with the talk about, the economy and the recession. We have a cloud on the market. But the difference between Guam and what's going on in the US right now is we have a military buildup. And I know a lot of people, I have spoken to people who see that as a negative factor. Absolutely not. The military coming in means military spending on Guam, continued military funding on Guam, jobs for our community. And let's face it, it is the jobs that will carry us out of whatever recession is going on. More buildup, more people is great for our island. It's great for our community. And that's going to help our people just lift themselves up. Honestly, forget the government, subsidies and all that. What we really need here are jobs. And with the increase of jobs will be increase in income, and people have something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. So it's absolutely fantastic. We're in a fantastic position in that we have this buildup coming in, and that's going to trickle down to everybody.
Well, the one thing that I love about being part of this island family is we have never been afraid of hard work and everything. So give us a little bit of opportunity and we're going to get the job done.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And you're right. That's how the community is.
Okay. So thus, we conclude this message. We conclude this meeting. We are now considered adjourned. So, Madam Chair, your coffee is waiting on the table on the way out.
I'll have a smoothie instead.
Oh, even better. Start the year healthy. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. All right, Gina, thanks so much, and Happy New Year to you and your family as well.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to you, Jason.
All right,
we'll see you next time.